AMVR FC4, very new facial interface from AMVR. It looks almost the same like the one released a few months ago, but it's not the same. Like, this is the previous one. It has knobs for people who wear glasses, and the new one also has them, but this time it's a version for halo straps. So if I install it, for example, in this Bobo VR, I have still a lot of space between the facial interface and halo. So I can adjust the angle, I can change position of the halo, like lower, much lower, or much higher. In the old one, it was impossible. So for halo straps, this one is way better. And this is how AMVR advertise it, that this new model is for halo and the old one is for elite straps. And if you don't know, halo means that you have this on forehead. So if you have head strap like this with something here, it's halo. Box contains exactly the same what previous model, so there is another pad. AMVR calls it Ice Silk. It has cooling gel inside, and of course there is the facial interface with pre-installed PU leather pad, also with cooling gel. The cooling gel inside doesn't have any impact on temperature of forehead. It's just too small, the temperature cannot be transferred anyway, so it's just for marketing, that's it. But the same was before in the previous model. But in terms of comfort, because this is why we buy another facial interface, in terms of comfort, for me, very comfortable. Of course, for elite straps, this one is still better, but for halo, this is the way. Of course, everything depends on shape of your face, but for me, this is very comfortable. Very similar to globular cluster, to KKCOB, so very similar to my favorite facial interfaces. But it has the same knob like the previous AMVR, and this is very useful for people with glasses or with prescription lenses inside Quest, because you can adjust it very precise, and maximum you can push the facial, not the facial interface, the Quest 9mm from your face. So this should be enough for most glasses. And for sure it's more than enough for prescription lenses. And let's talk more about measurements, because this plastic in front right now has about 3 centimeters, almost 3 centimeters. And in the past it was almost 4, it was 3.8. But the more important is this pad, this sponge. And right now is about 2.3 centimeter, like 2.4, something like that, 2.3. So this is way smaller than it was before, because before, in this central part, more than 3.5 centimeter. And this is huge difference. So for example, if I install this new facial interface to Bobo VR S3 Pro with a fan, it cools me down. There is a lot of space for the air to cool down my forehead. But in this one, there was almost no space at all. So not only the forehead was more hot all the time, but also it was almost impossible to cool it down this way. This is still much bigger than globular cluster, but it's not game changer anymore. I don't feel huge difference right now if I use Globular Cluster or AMVR. And Globular Cluster is almost impossible to buy. It's out of stock almost all the time. And AMVR is in stock all the time. Of course, I have review of Globular Cluster. I have review of all other AMVR facial interfaces, so check them on my channel. But let's focus on this new one now. People always want to know about FOV, field of view, in facial interfaces. But it's impossible to measure because the same facial interface on my face and on your face can have totally different FOV. This one can have huge FOV for me, this one small for you, and opposite. However, on my face, FOV is big. Like, I can move headset very close to my face, so close that it touches my eyebrows. So even without glasses, even without prescription lenses, I still prefer to move it a little bit from my face using those knobs or using adjustment in halo strap. But for you, it could be totally different. But what's very important for FOV is how thick is the sponge. This, in this case, this PU leather. It's about 15 millimeters. It's very hard to measure it because it's very easy to squeeze it, but it's like that. This one, little bit more thick, but it's not big difference. So it's pretty average, it's okay. It has 4 vents, 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom, so not like the Elite version. It had only 2 on the top, but nothing here. For me, no difference at all. For me, Quest 3 is never fogging, so also here, not a problem. But more vents means that there will be problem with light leaks. And it was a huge problem in the very old AMVR, this one without knobs. I had to cover it in tape, but in those two, it's almost the same. So the problem with light leaks is fixed, and there is a little bit, I will show you, but nothing like before. Right now it's adjusted for people without glasses. And there is small light leak here in this area, but it's so small that I have to move the flashlight in a very specific position to show it. Most of the time I don't see it. And the same during gameplay, it's not a problem for me. Yeah, I can, most of the time you can see it. I have problem to show it to you. So it's not really a problem. If you adjust it for glasses, I will move it to the maximum position, 9 millimeters. Now the light leaks are bigger. Bigger, but still small enough to not make big difference. Because when I do it with flashlight, it's much more visible than with daylight or with bulb somewhere on the ceiling. So for me, this was not such a problem that I had to use tape to cover it. For me, it was okay. And even if you want to cover it with tape, it will be just very little tape, not like in the old AMVR in FC1. It's easy to install and detach. If it's in the default position, like right now, I just have to remember to squeeze it here, like both fingers, squeeze it pretty hard, and then just pull it. If I don't squeeze it, the knobs will, I'll show you, they will not hold it in one place. But this is normal. In every facial interface with some kind of regulation, some kind of adjustment like this, it's exactly the same. And always squeezing it solve the problem. For me, weight was never important in facial interfaces. I really don't feel a difference between the most heavy and the most light, but if you want to know, this one weighs almost 96 grams. The Elite version is very similar, 102.5 grams. So, time for conclusion. In my opinion, this is very good facial interface. The biggest problem is price, so the same like with the Elite version. It should be a little bit cheaper, because right now in this price point is KKCOB VR with a fan, and Globular Cluster costs $60, but it's always in promotion, so the real price is also the same. It's also $40. And for $40, this one is worth deal. But if you can get it in some promotion, then yeah, it's very good visual interface. For me, very comfortable. Those knobs are great for glasses. Everything here is at least good. And for many people, this another pad, iSilk, is game changer. For me, no, I don't like it. I mean, I like Pew leather much more. This I can use, it's comfortable for me, but I like games where I sweat a lot, and for this, Pew leather has just no competition. But for many people, this is way more comfortable. And at the end, it mostly depends where you live and if you can order other facial interfaces, because AMVR, they ship almost everywhere in the world. And Globular Cluster and KKCOB VR are a little bit more limited. And as I mentioned before, often out of stock. And this is very easy to buy. If I wouldn't have any other facial interface and I would buy this one, I would be very happy with it. With the previous model, with this one, the Elite version, no. Because for example, where is it? In S3 Pro, the fan, I almost don't feel it in this. In the Halo version, fan make huge difference. At least for me, I live in Thailand, so it's very hot here. And I often sit without air conditioner. With this, cooling in S3 Pro, great. In this one, terrible. The fact that I can adjust this angle like this or like this, pointing headset more down or more up, it's very important for people with astigmatism and with prescription lenses. And in this, I couldn't really adjust it however I wanted. I mean, for my head, it was okay. It was pointed as it should for my lenses. But for some people, it could be a problem. And here, perfect. I can do whatever I want, the same like in Globular Cluster. So, this is very good facial interface. But once again, if you have Elite head strap, don't buy it. For Elite, the previous model FC3 is much better choice. That's it. See you.